Are you trying to save Hafeez, Pearl?
I was actually really confused in this interview. I wish I was like I should have waited a little longer to call in, but like I did not know what I walked into. I thought we were gonna agree more than disagree, and
And
then I
you
kept
seem
getting
like you
accused of
started
playing
shifting
games.
once he started talking.
Yeah, yeah. I was just honestly so confused that it was like I came in and like I was a fan of Hifties, so like I came in thinking we were gonna be on the same, you know? And I didn't watch the interview from like Coach Greg Adams the day before. I saw like the beginning, but I didn't see the full thing, so I didn't
Mhm.
know. I think he'd just come back from that, so it was like,
No, that's a good thing that you didn't watch because it gave you it allowed for you to have the interview without being, you know what I'm saying, poisoned as to what it was that he was saying on the previous interview. You know what I'm saying? Like if I go in to interview somebody, a lot of times I don't watch the content that they've recently done because it allows for me to ask questions without being biased based off of the way that they fumbled the day before. But when you asked them the first question and you said, "Yo," asking about the red pill, was you surprised about that?
um I wasn't surprised he said he wasn't red pill, but I was just because I knew their content. He was like more pro getting married and that sort of thing. I was surprised when he started to call me a grifter, basically.
Why did
um,
he call you a grifter?
yeah, you'll see. Um,
Oh my god.
and when he was yeah, there is some instances where you'll just see I was like, oh wow, because there's it all started when he was like, I see the type of interview you're trying to have, and I was like, what type of interview am I
You
trying to
wasn't
have?
you wasn't really grilling him. You was just like asking him additional context to some of the stuff that he was saying.
Yeah, because I would ask him a question, and then he would give me this long answer, and that's one thing I think I need to work on as an interviewer is like honing in my guests
No, you
because he would.
shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. Don't do it. Don't do it because the beautiful thing about interviewing is that you can just kind of let them talk. But what happens is they don't have a script. It's easier when you get on the camera, right? And you got a subject and you just want to make an 8, 10, 12 minute video and you just want to talk to the people. It's easy for them to frame it however it is that they want to frame it. But when you get in front of people and you let them talk, you get to see what they're really about. So why would you want to hone them in? You trying to
Well,
save him. You trying to save him. That's what it is.
no, I mean like how do I put it? Like when it's kind of like when you ask one question and the interviewer or the person you're interviewing gives you like a 10-minute response and they don't answer the question. It's kind of not entertaining for the viewer because it's like, I
Oh, it
mean,
was
I guess
very
this was
entertaining. It was
what?
very entertaining. It was incredibly entertaining. But I mean, and you're in a difficult position though, too, right? Because you're a girl. So then, like, you can't really start moving a little bit more masculine, and then try to control as much as you really want to hone him in,
Mhm.
because he was. It seemed like he was dead set on trying to debate with you, and it didn't seem like he was trying to debate at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm telling you, I was a fan. I was like, that's why I was so confused. He started accusing me of playing games. I was like, what games?
Did Okay? So now I got to ask you, Pearl. And you can choose not to answer. You can make a modification. Are you still a fan?
Um, I don't want to say I'm not a fan. I would just say that was the most. I left that interview. I felt triggered. That's why I left. I left. I was like, was I just triggered? Because at first I was like, maybe I'm being dramatic. Like maybe I shouldn't be offended, and I wasn't really that offended because it's just one person. But I was like, he was disrespectful. Was I making that up? Like, and then I watched it back, and everyone was like, "No, he was disrespectful," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I wanted to make sure because sometimes like when you're in a conversation, it's like you might take
Yeah.
something one way, and I always try to like wait before but
Was
I
the
don't know.
energy what was the energy like before y'all interviewed?
He was just quiet. He just looked really, really tired, and that's what I said to him before the interview started. I was like, "Oh," because I was kind of nervous he wasn't going to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I stood corrected. I That was not a fear that I should have had.
Do you think that because I know you are familiar with his content, and I know you familiar. Like I know y'all, kind of dealt with each other as far as like, interacting and stuff like that, a while ago, whatever. Do you think that he's evolved based off of what you've known of him prior to this interview and what he's evolved into? Do you think that he's evolved to be a lot more blue pilled, even regardless of how he identifies himself? In your personal opinion, do you think he's evolved to be a lot more blue pilled based off of, I don't know, his life experiences, him getting married? What do you think of that?
Um, I didn't really watch his like super red pill content. I watched his interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to watch him like interview Candace Owens,
Yeah.
AMS. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, and there he seemed to let the other party talk. So I I don't know. I kind of expected the same, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I'm not with the like. I have no idea what happened with the red pill, him getting married, and all that. I never really saw him as a super red pill content creator. I just saw him as like an interviewer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah,
I'd never seen him as an interviewer. I seen him as a person that was trying to create content that was giving men advice.
yeah, yeah. That too. But I didn't watch like the men's advice stuff because it's like,
Because I don't even look at myself as an interviewer. Like I look at myself as a person that kind of give advice and tell people what they should and shouldn't do based
mhm,
off of my own life experiences. But then when I talk to people, a lot of times, I think it turns into a different type of conversation when I'm talking to people in real life. Um,
mhm.
because I'm used to giving my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I even have to pull back and let the guest talk a lot, which I thought you did a lot. Like you let him get off his thoughts, you let him say what it is that he said, and all essentially he doubled down on the thing that he was talking when he was talking to Craig Adams.
I swear to God, I almost didn't post this because I was like, I felt like I was like, I don't think I did a good job interviewing. Like, so I almost didn't post it.
Would you do it any differently?
There were times where he said things that were disrespectful that I wish I kind of checked him a little bit more on. Um,
Mm,
Slight, like I think I could have. Yeah, that's probably what I would have did differently because it's one thing to like have someone come and be like rude to you on your own show, and
mm.
I don't know. That's probably what I would have changed.